And with that, we finally wrap up the Sea Temple arc for Black Clover, and very kind of like a very somber note to kind of leave off on this episode. Very like kind of, and I think this episode especially really ended off where it's like everything that was good and bad with this arc, and just everything that went around with it, and you can definitely tell with like especially with how they try to end it as well. There was a really nice thing that they added when right at the very end of this like episode, which is they actually changed the ending up a little bit. They had like a whole kind of like recap of like some of like the moments going throughout this entire episodes, and like going through it, and actually they changed the song a little bit where it is Kohono's voice actress just singing it, because the original ending I believe is Mimosa and Noelle's voice actress and Kohono's voice actress during the ending song of 4. But it's a really nice like song. I really did really enjoy it. I thought it was kind of a nice little send off to it, and especially with like this episode where this is the we finally finished up. We finally beat Vito, and we get to see that the Midnight Sun have clearly taken notice of this. Lead is seemingly still like in a catatonic state like at the moment, where he's like in this tube, and clearly he's out of the picture at the meantime. So it looks like it's up to the others right now to take care of this mess that's being caused by them. And you see like where it's like that's the only snippet we get of them at the moment. It's like that's all we see, but we can see that Rades, Sally, like that teleporting dude on there. I always forget his name, I feel bad for him, but it's like Fana, Raya, like they're all there. And especially when we cut back to the Black Bulls and we get back to them, and it's like, okay, like the old man is like thanking them for protecting like his grandchildren and everything, and then he's like, oh, like Yami's just like, just give us the magic stone, oh man. He's like, wait, what magic stone? And it's like, are you serious? You didn't know what the magic stone was, even though you were like, you want the magic stone. He's like, I might happen to overhear you guys talking about that. And it's just like, so I assume it's a stone, but you know, what kind of stone is it? What does it do? And it's like, you old ass man. It's like Yami's pulling out his fucking sword. And he's like, really? And luckily Nero, like the last time that he did with the other magic stone when they got from that village, he just picked it up. And I'm not gonna lie, Nero looks like he hasn't slept in years when he comes out there. His eyes are just like, look, I've got it, just go and take it. And like even the old man's like, sure, take it, I don't need it, no need to hold back. And I like that, just like he opens his hand and he's just like, Nero just gives it to Yami. He's like, sure man, like I can trust you. You're the sensible one here. As he like lays back in like Asta's like head for the most part, and it's like, okay, at least and all that, like with all of this, all of you guys take a rest and all that. And even Yami, who's like, I'm actually proud of you guys. You all guys did really good. And he's just like doing like the whole little battle of like, you know, yes sir and all that. And it's just like, even with them like kind of run away, and then all of their magic just starts running out, where it's just like all of them just start falling down, like for the most part. It's like, oh, interesting enough, like when you see it, because obviously there was like people were worried and all that, and especially they finally made sure that it was all okay. And this time, you find out that Asta broke both his arms during that fight. So the worry that we're talking about is like, wait, you already saw that he was moving one of them, and it's like, wait, did he break both of them break? And it's like, no, they did. Both of them did break. So that's an interesting thing to come out of this episode, that Asta at the moment cannot use his arms. So how the hell is he going to fight? That was a very interesting like whole little scenario as everyone's like resting up. Like you even see like Magna and all them, they're finally woken up from consciousness, and they're all like kind of staying in a room, and they're like joking about a little bit. And there's a nice moment between Magna and Luck where they're talking about this, like this whole scenario, and it's just like, yeah, we kind of had to accept that we got our asses kicked though. Like we had to accept like we needed to improve against that. And I was like, I thought that was an interesting little thing that they brought out of the whole situation. And like, it was like they realized their flaws, and it's like they're weak and they need to improve themselves. And even like they're joking around and they're like saying, hey, great, now that you're finally here like this, maybe you should actually, you know, start being, you know, having a bit more confidence in yourself. And like they call out Vanessa saying she's a floozy and all that, and they start calling Magna like a version to Yankee. And then there's this another nice moment where like all the Black Bulls apart from Yami and Asta are out there like just kind of having this chat. You like just seeing them just talk together, and then they see outside, and there are just people like cheering for them, thanking them for everything and all that. And it's just like, you know, we are the absolute worst Magic Knight squad in history and all that, being thanked by people after that. However, though, it is slightly ruined because, oh Pyro, whichever way you want to say it, there is an actual they actually fucked up the animation where you see Magna like wiping his eyes as he's tearing up, and then there is actually a scene with like a misplaced cell of him having the glasses on before he put them back on. Like there's an actual animation error right there. That was something I noticed in the comment section at first. That was like the first part of the episode, and I was just like, huh, why are people mentioning 10 minutes 15 seconds in, and then it's like, oh, there's a couple seconds after that you get to see like this whole fucked up little animation thing on there, and I was like, oh, okay then. And it's like, and that's what I mean, this episode ended off and it's like it showcased all the good parts at the ending of this arc and all the bad things, where it's like, this is the one I think it's like this arc and especially has had the heaviest production issues out of all of them. Like, again, like it, like when you think about like the Royal Capital arc, I was like, there were stiff parts to the episodes, and like even early on, there was like compared to like the first 5 or so, which normally is when like the production always kind of like not goes crazy until like the big episodes when they bring in the heavy stoppers. But it's like, this is definitely the one where it's like this showcase like, there are really good scenes and all that, and there were really good shots with like certain characters and all that, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, this showcased everything, whereas like, there are production issues, and there are errors, and there are bits that look really bad in some shots, and I'm like, yeah, no, this showcases the entire arc, and I hate that has to be the case on there, especially after we had a banger of an episode last week, but it's like, nothing would be more Black Clover with it being completely having problems, and I'm like, of course on that. But you do have the nice moment of like Kahono and Noelle making a promise together, and it's like, this isn't the end to me and my voice, as she like telepathically saying this to her, and it's like, I'm just gonna get more stronger throughout there. And it's like same thing with like Kyato as well, who's gonna, like he said, like, this isn't the end of me as well with my leg and all that. I will find ways about that, which you find interestingly, Kyato has got a huge crush on Noelle. And it's like, I want to improve myself, I want to sort this out, and then I'm going to, like, actually confess to her. And it's like, and Kahono is like, I don't know about that, I think she's taken at the moment. And then it cuts to Asta and Yami, who, in a very somber moment, are actually at the grave of Vito. Or at least, like, just, they've got a cloth over him, and actually paying respects to him. They're actually, like, making sure like his spirit passes on, like, and like Yami's doing kind of like an ancient, like kind of like doing like more paying his respect, and Asta's there like, hey, I brought some flowers, and like it's like, it's very weird something, because again, like, this is the stuff that you guys see, like we see like early on with Asta, where it's like he's like obviously a very loudmouth, very brutish kind of character, but then it's like, you get these somber moments here like this where he like actually goes and pays respect, and he's really quiet and he's really polite about this, and he's like, he's still trying to understand more about what really led this character to this point. He's asking like, again, like the whole despair guy, and it's like, you know, even for an idiot like me, he's like talking about it, like even like, I think like he says that, or like, even I can understand that this guy was like, he kept talking about despair, but it's clearly because he was the one that was experiencing most of it, and this is what led him down this path. And when you see it, and one interesting note about this, especially because obviously they censored it, because I believe in the actual thing he is cut in half, he is cut clean in half. You can see in the anime, you can still see the mark of where Yami fucking hit the attack. That is a nice little like bit of detail I loved, where it's like they could have just made it plain on like just plain saying all that, but it's like you can still see this groove where they're paying their respect, and it's like this just clean cut of like it's going across this entire body, and I'm like, that's a nice little detail on there. And he drops it, he's just like, I just happened to find these pretty flowers, and it's my way of kind of paying respect to him. And it's like, I hated this guy, like I had them, but it's just like he kind of knows that like I kind of want to understand more about him, at least, or at least what makes these guys tick. And he's like, I can't forgive these guys or anything that they do, especially after what they did to Kahana, Magna, like, but he just doesn't understand what it is and all that, that something had to like change these guys to who they were. And he's like, we need to do something about this, and especially, like, kind of like how, like, Yami says it as well, where it's like, mate, like, he's like, what, are you a smart guy, Asta, or are you an idiot? And Asta's like, no, I'm an idiot. And he's like, and then he, like, slams down, like, his little, like, like, his little water. He's like, well, don't worry about it then. If you're an idiot, focus on yourself. Like, sometimes you just can't, no matter how hard you try, you can't understand people sometimes. Like, you just have to accept, like some reasonings are going to be, like, past you. You're never going to fully understand what was going through his head that entire time, especially if you don't know the full story or not. And it's like, don't worry, just focus on just improving yourself and focus on, like, your dream on there. And he just gives him, like, kind of like a little scruff on the head, and he's like, come on, kid, let's get out of there. As we see, like, they escape. And, like, one thing, if I don't remember this in the manga at all, but it's a very nice scene where they all disappear, they say bye, and you get to see Kiato and Kohono doing this song, and it's like, of course she can't sing, like, properly. Like, her voice is like, when she tries to sing, it's like very coarse, and it's like, it's very rough, and it's like, it basically sounds like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, it's really bad, like, and it's like, but she's still trying, and everyone's just start singing with her, and I'm like, this is like, I like this scene, this is very nice. I mean, even there was a part where it's like, you could see Asta, like, having a full recap of, like, oh, he's getting reminded of, like, his promise with Yuno, just to kind of remind ourselves about that. And again, where we see, like, this little nice little ending of that as they lead off and they hear this song, and it's like this little smirk off their face on there, and it was like this nice moment to kind of lead off on this arc. I thought it was like, no matter, like, you can see someone that's been like, kind of pretty much permanently damaged by, like, what happened to her. It's like, no matter what, she is still trying her damnedest. Like, again, like, I thought it was a nice little moment to kind of leave off on the whole episode, which next week is going to be interesting as we begin a very short arc, if I remember. I remember it really being very short in the manga, so it's going to begin that. And then after that, we get into one of my favorite arcs, so very curious to see what is going to be happening, because we know, obviously, the extension, because technically next week's episode was supposed to be the last episode of the series, so I'm wondering what the changes that are going to be, or are they going to leave it the same, like, it was going to be like this, it was going to end off in this way, so yeah, I'm curious. And again, like, this is going to be, we're not going to see Kohono and Kiato for a while now as well, like, especially a bunch of characters, but it was a nice way to end off the episode, I felt, like, on there. And again, it ended off in a way where it's like, production issues. The same thing happens, like, Clover, and, like, little managing scenes on there. Again, like, I was, like, the one bit where it's like, oh, that was an actual general fuck-up was the Magna thing, where it's like, that's just a pure animation error, straight up on there. But it's like, I'm curious as well, because I think after next week, we're getting a new opening and ending, so I'm curious to see what they're going to pull out of there, because, again, there's a lot of things to be saying with, like, the stuff that's going to be coming on next, and especially with the visual that they've been showing for the continuation of, like, Black Clover, then you should kind of expect that things are going to change quite a bit on there, especially where it's going to be leading, so I'm very curious and all that with the next few episodes, but I thought this episode was a fine episode. I thought it was, like, decent. Again, production issues as per usual on there, but it's like, this was a nice little wrap up to this arc, I felt. Like, whereas, like, you kind of had these nice moments between the Black Bulls, some of the characters, and this really humble moment of just Asta paying his respects to his opponent and kind of having this moment. And again, the ending kind of showcased some of the more noble moments. It was showcasing them a lot from, like, a lot of Noelle's side and a lot of Asta, because, like, she was a character that grew a lot in this arc, where she finally was able to control her powers. She's able to kind of, like, fully do, like, and protect people now. Same thing with what we get to see with, like, Asta as well, whereas, like, Asta kind of was more trusting and relying more on his allies this time than he was just charging in blindly. So a nice little ending for the most part on there. And yeah, if you can see, like, the kind of their little ending with this on there, you're like, wait, who the fuck are those characters and all that. So people are going to be, I'm going to definitely be curious with the next arc. So that's all from me. Thanks always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.